and Jeanette, and because his relationship with Jeanette, hello Jeanette baby, his relationship with Jeanette was pretty much nothing. And so he was going to start spending more time with his family instead of and being in active addiction with drugs and alcohol. I wanted to believe that. I wanted to trust in him, and I always wanted the best for him. As months went on, it was the same thing. It just got worse. It got a lot worse. 3 days in a row, he's up, very, very intoxicated and very, very high. And then he'd be good for a couple days, and then he's back to his same ways. He used to have panic attacks when he would come down when he had to go to work. He would call me crying. Okay? He would call me crying, saying, I can't do this anymore. I gotta quit. I can't handle these anxiety attacks. I can't do this anymore. And I would calm him down and console him as a friend and tell him, well, today is a new day. And just next time you decide to do something like that, go pick something else to do. Okay? I fought for his addiction for several months for him. It was draining. It took away from me. It took away from my family time. It took a lot in me. And anybody, you can call me a bad person, but I was never, one thing James can never say is I was a bad person to James. Okay? Because I never was a bad person to James. I loved him with my whole heart. And to be honest with you guys, I will never forgive James for all he's done. But I still love him with my whole heart. Okay? Today, James went on a live and said Child Protective Services went to his kid's school. Today, James was also intoxicated and high. Okay? Trying to convince himself today on a live, him and his brother that were both intoxicated and high, trying to convince himself on a live today and his brother that he was a good father. Now, here is my truth, okay? I believe in my heart James can be a good father, but he's not. He has chosen alcohol and drugs over all three of his biological kids. Okay? And it happens. I used to do the same thing. Thank you for the roses, baby. I did as well in my past. And we make mistakes, but it's what we do with our mistakes that moves on. Now, with that being said, I got a live sent to me. And then before it was over, I was able to go watch it. He was on live, intoxicated, and on rugs, right? Crying and whining and thinking it's funny that Child Protective Services called him and went to his children's school today. Okay? Automatically, James said, hold on, guys, sorry. Automatically, James said Nicole called. Listen, if I wanted to call, I could have called 10 weeks ago or 12 weeks ago. Okay? Do I think those kids are safe with James? Absolutely not. And I'll tell you why. A few months ago, James was always using, right? always intoxicated, would walk down in the hood and brought random people that were on rugs back to his home where his 7-year-old baby was. And I'll never forget that, and neither will he. Even though he was fucked up, I told him, what are you doing bringing a man that you have no idea who he is, and he did this on more than one occasion, around your baby at 4 in the morning, and your 7-year-old still wide awake while you're using and you're intoxicated? You should be ashamed of yourself. I'm disappointed in you. And he'll tell you exactly. He got quiet. He said, I've never heard you tell me you're disappointed in me. Now, this is why I'm disappointed in him. Not only because he cannot get his drugs and alcohol under control, but because he's bringing random men off the street in the hood into the home where his baby and his stepson is. Okay? Yes, check out the goal, you guys. Thank you, Alyssa, baby. When you are bringing random men that is also using, that you don't know, because you're so lit and you're not right in your head to make those decisions. You don't know what they could do. They could have robbed him. They could have hurt his family. They could have did anything. I said I was disappointed. And that really did affect him. He got quiet and he said, I've never heard you tell me I'm disappointed. Thank you. Thank you, baby. I am running for the ranks, you guys. However, we talked about it for about a half hour, and instead of him getting this man out of his house, he still hung out. Dina, thank you for that, baby. Thank you so much. He still hung out, had this man hang out in his house for a couple more hours until Landon got up for school. Now, there's been multiple occasions that I could talk on that you just don't do with a young child or a 14-year-old in your home. Now, I want to speak on this. James acts like he calls his girl the landlord. What's up, Poppins? He calls his girl the landlord. I've never in my life, if my man called me a landlord, right? Never in my life would I have respect for him. And I'll tell you why James calls her the landlord. She doesn't help with Landon. I was very close to this man. All she does is go to work and then sleep. There is no life outside of that with her. And this is my truth. And that is, I am sober and I will say what I want to say. Thank you for the heart puffs, baby. Okay? He puts on a front like his life is all fine and dandy, but if you guys haven't noticed, it's a pattern. He's intoxicated and on rugs for days in a row, and then he'll go a couple days where he's not. Thank you for the roses, Dina. Okay? But today he decided to go live and say, my kids, CPS showed up and asked my kids about me. Let me tell you something. If you are not being a bad father and you are not being intoxicated, drinking and driving and using while that baby is in the car, which I have proof that he has had Landon in a vehicle while he was intoxicated and under the influence of drugs. Okay? If you are being a good father, you shouldn't have to worry about anybody calling on you. You should, a long time ago, at 38 years old, got your life together. Thank you for the corn, Juju, baby. And put your kids first. Now, let me tell you guys something, a little back history, okay? He has 3 boys that are biologically his. 2 of his boys he walked away from completely because he doesn't want to deal with the mom, and all he says he cares about is Landon. Now we got 2 boys that are without their father because he can't choose to get sober. And then you got another boy that lives in his house and watches his behavior, intoxicated and using right in front of his son. I will after I'm done talking. It's me, baby. I'm talking something serious. His 7-year-old son stays awake with him all night long, which I can prove everything I'm saying, and he knows it. While he's intoxicated, bringing random men, drinking and driving, intoxicated and under the influence of drugs. Okay? So I don't know why you're so upset that Child Protective Services, CJ, thank you, baby. Thank you guys so much. I am in the rankings, you guys. So that means a lot. That means a lot. Game bow, is that what that's called? I'm not sure why you're putting the blame on anybody else for this, James. But how about you take those fingers that you're putting the blame on this person called, thank you so much, Rahu. Is it Rahu? Rohu. God damn it, I can never get it right. You know what? I'm just going to start calling you Sugar Plum, okay? I'm just going to start calling you my Sugar Plum, okay? Thank you, babies. Why don't you take those fingers and point them back at yourself and take a good look in the mirror why CPS was called on you. That could have been by anybody. Anybody. You are a horrible father. Thank you, CJ, for the hand hearts, baby. I appreciate that. And you've always been a horrible father. Always been a horrible father. And instead of taking my friendship and hearing me out and giving you advice, see, you can't help somebody that's not ready for help. If they don't want to get clean, they're not going to get clean. And that's what I really had to understand. James will tell everybody he started walking away from me. Marbles can sit here and tell you differently. Right? I couldn't do it anymore. I couldn't do it anymore. 4K will tell you differently. Clayson will tell you differently. I tried so hard to be a good friend to him and help him and guide him and get him the right resources so that he could get right for himself. And then once you're right for yourself, you can be a better father. Okay? But he doesn't want it. He's been like this for 18, 19 years of his life. Pamela, thank you, baby. He's been like that for 18, 19 years of his life, maybe even more. And he doesn't want to get sober.
12 in the chat. Oh, no, I don't know.